music, and his favorite song is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the
And that's been his favorite song for, I don't know, 3 years.
Yep.
They used to sing it to him at preschool.
Twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
I'm Aaron, and I'm Ben's dad.
I'm Catherine Jacobson. I'm Ben's mom.
My name is Chloe and I'm Ben's big sister.
Catherine is my sister, so Ben's my nephew.
And I'm Brock's wife, Dana, and I'm Ben's auntie.
Ben had his first seizure at 14 weeks. His head would fall back and his eyes would roll up in his sleep, and then they were very brief. And at the time, I didn't know anything about epilepsy.
My name is Brenda Porter. I am one of the pediatric epileptologists at Stanford Children's Health. Epilepsy, by definition, is just 2 or more unprovoked seizures. So people can have seizures for reasons like they have a really high fever or they get sick and they have metabolic problems. But epilepsy is when you have seizures just out of the blue.
But he had a few of these episodes in the baby Bjorn on my chest, and eventually it occurred to me that what was happening was not normal, that it might be a seizure. So we took him in, and he had one of these episodes in the doctor's office. And when the pediatrician saw this episode, he admitted us to the hospital right away, hooked Ben up to electrodes. He got his first EEG, and they recorded many seizures that night, put him on medication, and told us that 80% of the time these seizures will go away with this medication. The months passed, the seizures didn't get better, never got better. He had a very hard time developing. He didn't sit up until he was 18 months old. When we asked if he would ever walk, we were told, we don't know.
When Ben was a baby, you would hold him and he would have seizures. He had them all the time. You were there.
I was?
We were on vacation, and I just remember after he ate, he would have these seizures, and Catherine was holding him, and she just said, I can't do this another one today. Can you hold him? It was sad, because you could see he looks scared before they come on, and then he just really doesn't have control. It wasn't scary for me, because I somehow, I knew he was okay. I knew that he has these all the time. He was having these seizures 15 times a day at this point, and they were quick. They were less than a minute, but it does seem like forever. But he would just his body gets really stiff, and when he was little, you would just hold him. Now that he's bigger, it's different. They're scarier, they're longer, so.
My favorite thing about my brother is he's funny and he learns really fast. Once when he made me laugh, so we were all sitting on the couch watching television, and Ben was behind the couch next to the table, and he grabbed a cup of water and poured it on my dad's head. And then my dad thought it was me at first, so he got mad, but then when he turned around and saw Ben with the cup in his hand, he laughed. Well, me and Ben usually play with his toys, and sometimes we play tag because he likes running to people for hugs, especially my mom.
Favorite things about Ben is when I can get him to smile and laugh. And that sometimes is challenging because the same things don't always make him smile and laugh. I like to whistle, and when I whistle, Ben doesn't seem to hear that very often other places. So the whistling is something that he just hears from me, and he seems to enjoy that.
I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back from around the way. It seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you.
Well, I'm Ann Self. I'm Catherine's mother and Ben's Nana. I wanted to mention the essence of the epilepsy with Ben is that, you know, you can fall into sadness anytime because, of course, Ben's condition is really sad. But you have to celebrate Ben's joy. You have to celebrate the joyful things in Ben and the happy things in Ben, because that's what is best for little Ben and for my daughter and for ourselves. Having an epileptic grandchild has made me realize that life is not always perfect. You know, it's changed my outlook about what's important and what matters are relationships and love and care and giving.
My name is Alexandra Carr, and I'm Ben's one-to-one aide. Ben is a wonderful little boy who deserves all our love and respect. I love working with Ben, and his family is so amazing. They care so much. Yeah, you want in? Let me help you. Help you. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Boop. Basically, we come in the classroom and we start with a puzzle. And so we're working with this little book that he has about him with these songs, again, because he really likes songs. We're singing the song Old MacDonald.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had a pig, E-I-E-I-O. With an oink oink here and an oink oink there, here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. Old MacDonald had a farm.
Ben loves music. You know, if you put the music on, and he has all these little toys that he'll go up and he'll hit, and he plays, and he loves the music.
Here and moo moo there, here a moo, there a moo, everywhere moo moo, an oink oink here and an oink oink there, here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. Old MacDonald had a farm.
I think the biggest burden obviously falls on the immediate family, and so that would just be Aaron and I, and we share that burden of constantly being on alert, trying to catch a seizure, especially for Ben, because right now his seizures are very severe. They require oxygen, rescue medication, clear intervention. So,
for example, if we're planning to have a family outing and then Ben has a seizure, usually, you know, that means we have to tend to him while he has the seizure, and then he's going to be exhausted and sleep afterwards, and so we'll have to either not do what we were planning to do, or, you know, one of us will go with our daughter to do whatever it was we were going to do, and the other person will be at home taking care of Ben.
it's clear that we have no control over what's going to happen, but we try so hard, and one of the ways we try is to give him medications consistently every night at the same time, have his dinner every night at the same time, and put him to bed every night at the same time. So we as a family never go out past 5:30 or 6 ever. Yeah.
Well, how I feel about how Ben and epilepsy changed me is that while I have a lot more compassion than epilepsy than I would have had without Ben, I try to stand up for epilepsy. When I see him have seizures, it just breaks my heart because it's so sad, and it's just really sad.
My sister Frances trained him not to do this, but I love doing this with him. Is he gets his, when I greet him, I pick him up and I put my head in his chest, and then he pulls my hair, and I say, get some, Ben. And he pulls my hair and he starts laughing and he pulls it and he loves it. He has this wonderful laugh. He's such a good-natured kid.
This was about maybe 2 years ago. He came over and I was doing the dishes and kind of busy, and he was just walking around and having fun. He likes scratching things and touching things, and so he was enjoying himself around the house. And he came up and he went to this chair that every time he comes over, this is the chair that he has his meal in. He started hitting his chair until I paid attention to him. And then when I picked him up and I said, "Are you hungry?" and I put him in his chair, and he just got this biggest smile, and he got so excited. He was wiggling all over the place, and he was so happy that I knew that he wanted to eat, and then he ate a lot.
I don't think people understand the impact on the parents of a child with epilepsy. You never know, right? And there's not, it can happen anytime. As a parent, what are you going to do? You got to monitor them at night. Do you get sleep? You can't sleep. There's the actual disease and what happens, and then there's all this stuff that you have to do to protect people and keep them safe when they have that disease. And those caring for someone like Ben, it takes a big impact on him.
He's severely delayed. He's not talking. He communicates a little bit with signs and with pictures. But because of his brain malformation, it's hard to know whether the delay is due to the severe seizures or due to the malformation or a combination of both. There's also a large overlap between children with epilepsy and children with autism. And Ben now has been diagnosed with autism. We know very little about the genetic basis of autism, and we know very little about the underlying mechanisms in those children that have both epilepsy and autism.
So there's a very tight connection between epilepsy and autism. About 40% of kids with autism will have epilepsy. And what we know is that kids that have epilepsy that begins in the first year of life have a much higher rate of autism.
And that was really confusing, I think, just kind of teasing out what was what and what came from which. And I think it's been a really big, huge challenge for Catherine and Aaron to have that kind of uncertainty and just not know what's the best thing for them and how to treat it.
The hope, I think, is that the epilepsy doesn't define Ben, and that he can be sort of beyond the epilepsy, and people don't think about him as, the epilepsy kid or the kid with disabilities.
I call him my little snuggle bunny. I love who you are. I love what you do. I love you.
I love you, Ben, very much, the way you are. You're perfect the way you are.
And I would like Ben to also be able to talk and understand what we're saying. Even I think he does, but maybe he doesn't. So I want him to be able to.
I would want him to really know and feel that he's a gift to our family, and that he has given me much more than I ever expected to learn from having a child.
My fantasy is that someday Ben will be able to communicate and tell us that he has received all the love that we've given.
I guess I'd say to him, we're doing the best we can. His parents certainly have been striving awfully hard to take care of him and to figure out what to do for his seizures. But I guess the other thing I'd say is, you're a lucky boy. I know that sounds kind of dumb, but he has a very loving family, and that's worth a lot. The seizures are a problem, but, on a day-to-day basis, I think he's pretty happy.
My name is Michaela Mursky, and I am Ben's teacher at Edna McGuire. He's the light of my classroom right now. I adore him, and if I could tell him something, I would tell him to just bear with us and to keep pushing through and to keep, staying the path in here, and that we're going to help him to get where he wants to be. And I just want him to keep smiling.
I've decided to dedicate my professional life as well as my personal life to stopping my son's seizures, as well as the seizures of all children suffering right now from seizures. We're going to tackle this problem from all angles and try to bring in talented people from all the areas we need in order to solve this problem. Epilepsy is the fourth most common neurological disorder. 1 in 26 people will develop epilepsy in their lifetimes. Onset is highest in children and older adults. We can see the seizure start before he loses consciousness, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. This is a really devastating feeling as a parent, to know that your child is about to go into this state of unconsciousness, wake up feeling confused and afraid, and there's nothing you can do to help him. We need better treatments in order to improve the quality of life of every single person living with seizures. This includes kids like Ben, and it includes adults who live a fairly normal life with well-controlled epilepsy. In order to get better treatments, we need more research dollars for epilepsy treatments and research based on developing better therapies.
I think the most amazing thing is he's just so happy. Like, he's just always happy. I've never seen him really upset.
He's been through so much, and he's always just so brave and with such a great attitude, and he just, you know, goes for everything that he has to go through, always sort of without fear and without feeling bad for himself. He just kind of moves forward, and so I would tell him how brave and proud of him I am for that.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Mama told me don't lose you, 'cause the best luck I had was you. And I know one thing, that I love you. I said, hey, I'll be gone.